right, welcome to the post-game show as UW loses yet again, this time to UCLA 24-17. And, there's not a whole lot to say about this game. And other than I just don't know. I don't know what is going on with the Huskies other than, I've at that point now where I think a lot of UW fans are, where they've just lost all confidence in this coaching staff, coming off of a bye week and just can't get it done at home. And UCLA is now up to 5-2 on the year, but it was not a good game, to say the least. And over a breaking story right now outside of this game is what is going on in Knoxville, as Ole Miss is currently up 31-26, but there is some pure pandemonium going on, to say the least. And I'm going to upload a couple of pictures here to show you, but it's nuts, to say the least. Here's one picture, just showing some of the chaos going on there. But this one sums it up a little bit more, showing what is on the field right now in Tennessee. That is a bottle of mustard out there. And yeah, so that's a developing situation that I'll keep my eyes on. But back to the UW game, losing 24-17. Early on, here are some of the quick early highlights. UW was up 3-0 after a field goal, and then UCLA was able to put it in after this.
Chip just will not let a producer get a replay in. Quick nice. Out, bubble screen, Cam Brown. He's got him. Yep. Touchdown.
And at that point, it was 7-3 UCLA. UW was able to answer back with this. At this point, it was 17-3, and there was a very, very, very questionable call. But UW was able to answer with this right before the end of the first half.
Coming up at halftime, Rob and the guys are in Los Angeles this week. Here's Morris going for the corner. Odunze! Touchdown! Huskies! 26 yards.
And that made it 17-10 at the half. Starting out the second half, UW was putting something together here. Kamari Pleasant with a couple of rushes to get things going. And, UW was looking like they were going to get right back in this game, especially after this Dylan Morris touchdown, which tied it up at 17.
Hey, brother. You got a gap right there. He does. He's in. Touchdown.
And then soon thereafter, UCLA was able to put it in, making it 24-17.
Look good. He needs better, though, to come out of here with a win. Thompson Robinson, touchdown to Dulcich.
And that right there is where things finished out the game, as UW again loses 24-17. And checking back in on Knoxville, this is a very, very good question here, as I'll show this picture again. Who brings a bottle of mustard to a college football game? I just don't know on that one. I just had to throw that back up there because I just had that thought there. Yeah. Looking at some of the stats though from this UW game tonight, UW had 19 first downs to 22 for UCLA, so wasn't too terribly lopsided there. However, the rushing yards again. UW had 83 on 31 rushes, but UCLA had 237 yards rushing on 40 rushes. And that's just where I think a lot of this was. If you are watching live, appreciate it. Curious your thoughts on what is going on in Tennessee as we get another view of the mustard bottle, with this time with the hashtag from the SEC it just means more. So here's that another picture of the mustard bottle there, and in the SEC, it just means more. But back to the UW game, passing the ball, UW had. Let's see here. Let me get there we go. UW had 184 yards passing compared to UCLA's 183. So right dead even on that. And then the other stat that I always look at if you've been watching the Seahawks recaps has been the time of possession. And UW had the ball for 30 minutes and 40 seconds compared to 29 minutes and 20 seconds. So, very, very even there. Rushing, going back to that, Kamari Pleasant had a really good game. He had 9 rushes for 80 yards. But then on the other side, Sean McGrew had 18 rushes for 45 yards. So bit of a difference there. But on the other side of the ball, Zach Charbonnet had 21 rushes for 131 yards. And then DTR, their quarterback, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, had 12 rushes for 87 yards. And that was really the story of the game, as UW just cannot stop the run yet again. And I need to find the stats here on how much they've given up on the year. And then really quickly looking at the Air Force against BSU game, Air Force is currently still up 7 with 9 minutes to go, as they just had a good run there on a second down, under 9 minutes to go. But I want to show a quick clip of a very interesting call there at the 4th and 2 from the Air Force 2-yard line. I'm just going to give a couple of thoughts on this after we see the highlight here.
The backfield, and now Bachmeier. They fake the toss. Looking back, in trouble. Bachmeier takes a hit, and he is short. Alec Mock lowered the boom on Bachmeier.
Bachmeier just got destroyed there. And I'm gonna show that one more time.
The backfield, and now Bachmeier. They fake the toss. Looking back, in trouble. Bachmeier takes a hit, and he is short. Alec Mock.
He just absolutely got rocked. They did review the play, and it was not targeting. But the real story on this is it was coming after a timeout, 4th and 2. And if you look here, BSU only had 10 players on the field. 10 on the field at that time. And how that happens after a timeout on a 4th and goal from the 2, I don't know. Just very poor execution there. And then this question coming in here from Greg: who is having a tougher year, Jimmy Lake, Andy Avalos, or 7-win Sark? And honestly, right now, I'm going to put all 3 of them in a very interesting place. And if I were to rank these in order, I think Sark, being his first year at Texas, is probably at 2nd spot. Andy Avalos is in the 3rd spot. Nobody really expected him to do a whole lot this year, other than BSU fan, obviously. But then Jimmy Lake is having probably the toughest year. And I do know, after reading some of these tweets here that are coming through, and then some of the comments from some of my friends, that they are not happy with what is happening on Montlake. And looking at this tweet here, it's saying Washington had 2 weeks to prepare and manages 184 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions against UCLA secondary that ranked last in the Pac-12, allowing 308 yards per game through the air. So, not looking good, especially with the talent that we have on this team. And yes, Chief, always good to have 11 man on the field coming out of timeout, 4th and goal. I think that's a given, and that's referring again to this right here with BSU only having 10 on the field there. I am keeping my eye on that BSU game right now and trying to see if they're going to be able to. What's going to happen here is it was a first and 25. Unsure what happened there. But Air Force is looking to run out the clock in this game. And looking at some of the other scores around the country, again, the news tonight's in Knoxville, which, who knows what is going on over there. But now it looks like Tennessee has a chance to come back to win this game, and I do not know what is going on. Of course, I'm following it on the Twitter. I'm going to see if I can get it on this second screen here. But just seeing some tweets coming through on that. The one big upset of the day again is coming from Purdue, as they coined it, took a number 2 on Iowa. And let's see here. We got a injured volunteer on the field, and it looks like they do have the ball. And yeah, their quarterback. Oh, they're in Ole Miss territory too. So I'm going to keep my eye on this game here. I'm going to stick with it till the end of this. With I'm not sure how much time left on the clock there, so we're going to keep our eyes there. But looking at the other scores around the country, or and around the Pac-12, because again, I'm not sure what else we can say about this UW game. But Ole Miss again is up 31-26 in Tennessee. Arizona State is up at halftime 21-7 against Utah. Kentucky could not take care of business in Georgia, losing 30-13. Purdue again over Iowa 24-7. Cincinnati over UCF, Oklahoma over TCU, Alabama over Mississippi State, Michigan State over Indiana, Oklahoma State over Texas, referring to 7-win Sark that we spoke of earlier. Auburn over Arkansas, Baylor over BYU, LSU over Florida, Texas A&M over Missouri, NC State over Boston College, and then last night Oregon over California. So looking at an update from Neyland Stadium in Tennessee, they have 18 seconds left. It is 1st and 10 for Tennessee. So just going to keep our eyes on that. And looks like in the BSU game that Air Force recovered not a muffed punt, but a fumble with 4 minutes and 45 seconds to go in that game. Another comment here about the UW game. 2 staples of UW football: running the ball, especially at home, and stopping the run. Both are non-existent this year. Absolutely, they're not. And it's in a night we were supposed to be honoring the national title of 91. We didn't see any resemblance of that 91 team at all. And so it's just not looking good. And looks like Air Force is still trying to bleed out that clock as much as they possibly can in Albertson Stadium down here in Boise. And looks like they're down in Tennessee. Their quarterback is maybe not their quarterback, but their one player that was down is hobbling off the field. Again, 18 seconds to go in that game. Just going to keep looking towards that one to see what is going on there. All right, let's see here. 1st and 10 from the 33. He's looking back to pass. He dumps it over the middle, gets it out to about the 20-yard line. And 12 seconds, they have no timeout, so they are going to have to spike the ball to kill the clock here. And there is the spike with 11 seconds left. Tennessee is up to the 21-yard line, as it'll be a 1st and 10 with 11 seconds to go. No timeouts. Again, down by 5. Now, it's going to be really, really interesting to see what's going to happen here if, by chance, Tennessee does get it in the end zone. and what the SEC is going to say about all of this, especially with the fans throwing stuff on the field. Looking back at some of the stats from the UW game as we're keeping an eye on the Tennessee game, and another stat as looking at the other game we're looking at is Boise State has not lost 3 straight home games since 1996. All right, and Tennessee back to pass, looking to his right, dumping it over the middle, and through his hands. Wow, that one was close. 3 seconds left down in Neyland Stadium. Now, as Milton just barely overthrew his receiver, and he had a chance to get it too. He did touch it, but just barely over his hands. All right, here we go with it is 3rd and the game, 21-yard line. He is, they're calling a timeout. Ole Miss called a timeout right before that snap. So that was getting close there. All right, as that one is going to timeout, this couple of tweets that are coming through about the UW game, it's asking about, what needs to get changed. Is it the personnel, the players, or is it coaching? And I think, it's could be a combo of both. It's hard to blame Dylan Morris on things, although he did have those 2 interceptions that both were pretty bad way to look at those. One was just underthrown there at the end where I think it was Davis had a good yard and a half on the defender there, underthrown, and then early in the game there was another one that he just kind of threw up and it was intercepted. But here we go at Tennessee. He is back to pass, looking to his right, stepping up now, trying to run around, looking to his left, and he is running the ball. What is he doing? And he just knocked out of bounds. Didn't even try to throw it there. Wow. As Lane Kiffin is again, he just put his hoodie on to, try to protect himself from something, I guess. But they've got to get their players off the field there. And Lane Kiffin looks just like he looks like a high school kid there with his hoodie on, just getting off the field there. But it is what it is there, as my camera cut out yet again on us. But that will do it for tonight for the Teacher Dudes, the halftime, or not halftime, the post-game show. I will be back tomorrow with Mark, and during the Seahawks game, they do have the Sunday night football game, so it'll be a later night again for us. But be sure to tune in at halftime and the post game for that, as we'll be talking the Seahawks and the Steelers. But until then, again, thank you so much for watching. Really do appreciate it and appreciate you tuning in. And we will see you tomorrow for, again, the Steelers and the Seahawks.